Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Welcome. Hello. Thirdman Alkiner says, nice new video, Jar Jar Studios, about Bluey. Oh, you liked that one, huh? Oh, you liked that one. Glad you enjoyed it, Lerdman. Melon Playground guy, yo, what's going on? Captain Keys says, I have waited and I have listened. Yes, a Home Alone video. At least I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and do this. I have two ideas. One is kind of a rehash of a video I've already done, but it didn't really get that many views, so maybe this time around it'll get more views. And that's I'm gonna take the brick scene and I'm gonna try and insert Anakin and Obi-Wan into the brick scene. And Anakin's gonna get hit by a brick. Kevin's gonna throw a brick down on his head. And then I want to take the other scene where Obi-Wan is standing in the hallway about to walk down the ramp. And instead of walking down the ramp, he's trying to walk inside the house, and that's when he falls, just like Marv falls. Captain Key says, I have this really nasty rash since we fought those weird alien squid things. I'm good now, though. You might want to get that checked out by a Sangheili. Qui-Gon Jinn, welcome. Erdman Alkiner says, please make more sense in Bluey content. I'm getting confused by it nonsense. Well, Erdman, if you want, you can send a big super chat, you know. You can help fund the Bluey content to make more sense, you know. I know you did it once before, and you could do it again. Erdman Alkino says, Qui-Gon, you have been freed. You're no longer a slave. Wow, thank you, Qui-Gon. Oh well, call me master. That's pretty funny, actually. That's good. I might actually make that into a video. Pikachu and friends, yo, what's going on? He says this is going to be incredible to see. I hope so. Also, give me some Harry Potter ideas. I liked how well the Voldemort video did, and I do want to make another one. I had some green screens of Dumbledore. I'm wondering if any of you have any ideas as to what I should do with these Dumbledore green screens. I wasn't about to make like a mirror episode where like Voldemort versus Palpatine and then Dumbledore versus Palpatine right after that. Instead, I was thinking of making like I was thinking of switching it up, maybe like Dumbledore versus Yoda, where Master Yoda walks in and Dumbledore is at Palpatine's office desk, and Master Yoda and Dumbledore fight each other. But what do you think? Captain Key says Harry Mauger and the Rizzler of Ohio. Yes. Harry Mauger in the Chamber of the Sigmas, huh? Governor Grand Moff Tarkin, RJK, yo, what's going on? Ace, how you doing? Ace says I'm good. Good. Excellent. Also, to our regulars who regularly tune in, after I'm done with the Oblivion playthrough, what game should I play? Jungles of Lustrous as Morrowind, of course. I've never had Morrowind. UFO_Bub says Minecraft Hardcore. What's hardcore mode? Is that just like the hardest? Is Minecraft Hardcore just the hardest mode of like the highest difficulty, or is there like a separate? Governor Grand Moff Tarkin says, fact, Hemlock outranks Tarkin? Question mark. Why I said this was because in Bad Batch, Tarkin asks Hemlock, what is Project Necromancer? And Hemlock replies, I'm afraid that's classified, and Tarkin's pissed. That doesn't mean that he outranks Tarkin, that just means that he's part of it. That means he's part of a different jurisdiction. That is that Tarkin doesn't have clearance for that project because it's not his jurisdiction. But it doesn't mean that that Hemlock outranks Tarkin. Hemlock is not a governor. He's not at the same level. But the reason why he could say it's classified and ignore Tarkin is because there were certain things about what he was working on that the Emperor obviously didn't want getting out, and so the fewer the people that know about Project Necromancer, the better. And so Emperor Palpatine says, I don't remember, did you have any interest in playing the first Knights of the Old Republic? If so, then try that. UFO_above says hard mode but with one life in hardcore. Oh, that would be easy. I could do that, no problem. Minecraft hardcore mode? Except I've never actually done like a full playthrough of Minecraft. Like, I've never defeated the Ender Dragon, so I guess I don't know how hard or easy it would be. Captain Key says, I have nothing against Cortana. She's a nice AI, but going to the bridge and seeing a glowing naked avatar of my ex does things to a man. Wait, did Captain Keyes and that one lady, were they together? Was Captain Keyes, like in canon, was Captain Keyes and I forgot what her name was. It's like Doctor Who, Doctor so and so, the one that made Cortana, the doctor lady. I don't know what she's called. Were her and Captain Keyes together at some point? Emperor Palpatine says, Jar Jar, you didn't even answer my comment. You just read it. What is it? You playing Knights of the Old Republic or not? Well, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to or not, so I didn't really answer. I just read it and I thought about it, but I haven't decided if I want to play it or not. Adam Larson says, who would win in a fight between Jar Jar and Padme? Jar Jar would win so easy. Jar Jar would... This is how a fight between Jar Jar and Padme would play out. Padme would run up to Jar Jar and try and shoot him with the Naboo blaster, and Jar Jar would stick his long tongue out and wrap it around Padme's neck, and he would choke her with his tongue. And Padme would get choked out by Jar Jar by his long tongue. he would wrap his long slimy tongue around her throat and squeeze it tight. Bro, I need to make that video. Padme vs. Jar Jar. Emperor Palpatine says, Jar Jar, you are foul. I'm just saying that's how it would play out, okay? If Padme tried to fight with Jar Jar, she would just lose. That's... she would lose. Captain Key says, I had a short thing with Catherine Halsey. Okay, Halsey, yeah, that's what her name was. Dr. Halsey. You had a short thing with Dr. Halsey for about a year while we worked together for Oni. She gave birth to my lovely daughter Miranda, but the relationship just didn't work in the end. Dang. That must have been weird for Captain Keyes to have an AI on his ship modeled after his ex. That must have been so weird. A says Padme's gravestone would say, choked to death by friend's tongue. Governor Grand Moff Tarkin says, why did you classify necromancer to me? Why? You gave Hemlock permission to use any imperial resources he desired for necromancer. The funding is substantial. Because you didn't need to know. It was Project Necromancer is on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. Duh. Don't be intentionally obtuse, Moff Tarkin. Root Beer says Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. He is a Sith Lord. Adam Larson says, when I was a kid, I thought that Jar Jar was human mixed with a fly because I thought the things hanging from his head looked like flies' wings. That's funny. Root Beer says, hey Jar Jar, it's good seeing you. Yeah, good seeing you too. I was gonna say, I thought I recognized the name Root Beer. I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you back. How you doing? Captain Keyes says, I know, right? It seems like almost a personal attack from Catherine. I'm not sure if she wants me back or just to piss me off, but it's been 23 years. I'm done with her. Yeah, she's kind of shriveled up now, but I guess Cortana reminded you of what she was like before she got older. Root Beer says, I'm not exactly a fan of the blues edits, so I've been hiding amongst the shadows behind Jar Jar. Well, did you watch Voldemort vs. Palpatine at least? I hope so. The Bluey edits may in fact come to an end, because they do get a lot of views, but the views have been slowing down with the Bluey stuff, so I guess people are tired of watching the Bluey stuff. But if the Bluey views keep going, then I'll keep making Bluey stuff. Emperor Grievous says, I feel neglected yet again. Why you feel neglected? Ace says, guys, my dad had a theory the other day. What was the theory? Emperor Grievous says, Ozzy is watching the stream with me. Ozzy? Ozzy who? Theory was that Anakin's last name is one because his father was no one and his brother is Obi-Wan. So, wait, Skywalker is his last name because no one was his father and his brother is Obi-Wan? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. What's the theory? I don't understand. Qui-Gon says, From here you will witness the destruction of the Bluey video and the end of your significant views. Very sad. Ace says it was a small joke. Well, I mean, it was a joke, but I don't get it. I don't understand the joke. What's the answer to the joke? Like, why is it supposed to be funny? Anakin is called Anakin Skywalker. He's called Skywalker because his father was no one and his brother was Obi-Wan. I don't understand how. A says, like, Anakin's last name should be one instead. It's just a weird joke. Anakin's last name should be one instead. One of what? Like Obi-Wan? It should be Wan instead. Anakin's last name should be Wan because he doesn't have a father. That's not a funny joke. That doesn't even make any sense. That's not funny. That's just skibbity. Wait a second. Melon Playground Guy says, well, if you were to stop making Bluey videos, you need to make a big Star Wars YouTube group battle so they can kill off Bluey and end the videos. I suppose. Ace says, I don't know, LeMayo, my dad made it up. Well, your dad must have been... Maybe he was drinking or something, because that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. You think that's funny? You think that's funny? That's not funny! Captain Key says, if I'm honest, the thing that really killed it for me with Catherine was her sociopathic tendencies and superiority complex. I'm sure that wasn't good. No, look, let's be honest, okay? Dr. Catherine Halsey was clearly, she was clearly a boss. She was clearly a bad bitch, and you didn't have the capacity to deal with her because you're the commander of a starship. You're like Captain Keyes is like classic patriarchy, so you probably wanted to be dominant in the relationship, and she was like, I'm a strong, independent woman, and you were like, okay, this is over. I'm not doing this. I ain't doing this shit no more. He said, you said to Catherine Halsey, you said, you either get in line, soldier, or I'm going to court-martial you. And she said, all right, court-martial me, I'm leaving. And then you gave her your salute and walked out. Goodbye, Dr. Catherine Halsey. Hey, by the way, could you make like an AI version of yourself so we can install it in my ship? Jet Set Radium Future says, LOL, what did I just step into? I'm explaining Captain Keyes and Dr. Catherine Halsey's breakup. Jet Set Radium Future says Halo 1 and Reach was peak gaming. I agree with the first part, and I disagree with the second part. I did enjoy the story. The story of Reach was good, but the game mechanics were inferior to the previous Halos. It's just a fact. Sprint and Weapon Bloom were the two biggest mistakes they made with Reach. It never should have happened. Halo 1, 2, and 3 is where it's at when it comes to the gameplay. But they did do a good job with the storyline in Reach. I can agree with that. I like the campaign in Reach. But the introduction of Sprint was a massive L on the part of Bungie. And then 343 Studios carried that over to the other Halo games, and it ruined the arcade shooter feel of Halo. All the Call of Duty-fied, everyone's sprinting everywhere all the time, and people are aiming down iron sights and stuff. That's making Halo more like Call of Duty is that, you know, Call of Duty exists for a reason. It's in its own niche, and Halo was in its own niche as well. So they made a mistake with that. And I don't care what anyone says, they're just wrong. It was a mistake to add Sprint to Halo. That was a mistake. Halo Reach had the best multiplayer. I disagree. I think Halo 3 had the best multiplayer. Halo 3 had the best multiplayer, and then Halo 2 was second best, and then if I had to choose, I would say I would choose Halo 1 over Halo Reach for multiplayer. Now for campaign, Halo 1 is the best. Halo 2 is, or either Halo 1 or Halo 2. I'm split between the two. I think Halo 1 campaign is the best for me personally. But I think on an objective scale, you could make a very good argument for why Halo 2's campaign is the best. And then Halo 3 campaign. Halo Reach after that, and then ODST, because ODST is more, in my opinion, more like a DLC. And ODST, and then all the other Halos after that are garbage, so there's really no point in even talking about them. Captain Keyes says, to be honest, was probably a red flag earlier in the relationship when she said she wanted to hook up after we had been kidnapping kids for the Spartan program. Well, if you were involved in kidnapping kids for the Spartan program, I think you have as many red flags as she does. Kidnapping children? Captain Halsey's like, I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let the Spartan program die. And I'll silence anyone who gets in my way. For humanity, for the future of humanity. Ace says the fact that Darth Vader took over a whole galaxy and Voldemort couldn't even take over one singular high school. Look, bro, first of all, that's a poor comparison. Why? Because Darth Vader didn't take over the galaxy. Palpatine took over the galaxy. Darth Vader was his lackey. Darth Vader did not have the political awareness to be able to take over the galaxy. And this is what people don't understand. You cannot take over a galaxy or a country with physical might alone. That only takes you so far. And the reason why it takes you only so far is because, you know, if you are a powerful individual, all they have to do is get rid of you and then someone else takes over. You need to have the political awareness to be able to do something like that. And Darth Vader did not have that. Darth Vader was powerful in the Force, but he definitely was not powerful in politics. Nor did he know anything about politics other than surface level things. So, sorry, but it's not fair to compare Voldemort to Darth Vader in that regard. Emperor Palpatine says, "Damn right I did, Jar Jar. Yeah, I took over the galaxy." You know, even Palpatine, you know, he didn't take over the galaxy alone. He had help. Okay? Corrupt senators and governmental bodies worked together with Emperor Palpatine, and, you know, in many ways, Palpatine used the greed and evil of individuals in the galaxy against themselves. You know, Palpatine didn't rule until the Death Star came along. Palpatine was not ruling with an iron fist. He had to work with corrupt people. And if they had never gone along with his plans, then he never would have been successful. So the galaxy, what people need to understand is that part of the failure is not entirely on the Jedi, and it's not entirely even the Sith. The Sith just helped to orchestrate it, but ultimately it was a reflection of the kinds of people that lived in the galaxy. And there were lots of people in the galaxy that were evil and corrupt. And they sold out other sentient beings for money and power. Much like today, you know, a lot of politicians, people want to point the finger at politicians, but those politicians can only be that way because the people around them allow them to be that way. There's you can't point to a single evil person in history and say this person's responsible for all the bad things. You have to point to people as a collective. And that doesn't mean that everyone in the collective bears an equal amount of the blame. Some people, obviously, leaders do bear more blame than others because they're the ones that are tasked to be in charge of things. But the people also bear a bit of that responsibility. Bruno says, I think Jar Jar should have his own movie. I would agree with that statement, but Kathleen Kennedy has still not been fired from Lucasfilm, so until she is, I don't think there should be a Jar Jar movie, because it would be messed up so bad. And that's the problem with any new Star Wars stuff coming out. Because Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge, I don't trust it. Emperor Grievous says, even I did more than Voldemort. Voldemort is even the main villain of his movies. Yeah, but
there's more than one way out of it.
It's not again, it's not really a fair comparison. Because the Harry Potter universe is not a galaxy of like intergalactic systems or anything like that. It's just planet Earth. And before Voldemort can take over, and rule the Muggles of planet Earth, he first has to deal with the Ministry of Magic. The Ministry of Magica. All the he had to beat Dumbledore. And to say that Voldemort's weaker than Palpatine, we don't know how Dumbledore and Palpatine would square up. Maybe Dumbledore and maybe some of the characters in Harry Potter are far more powerful than Emperor Palpatine. And the reason why Voldemort failed is because he wasn't able to be as powerful as them too. And so maybe Dumbledore would easily beat Palpatine. Jet Set Radium Future says, ever since Disney, I'm done with Star Wars. No matter whatever happens, I will never come back. They killed it, which is so sad. I'm not. That's understandable. Yeah, Star Wars has really kind of been over since Disney took over. It's really sad that there's literally only been like 1 or 2 projects that are really solid that's come out of Star Wars since Disney took over. That's really saying something. Like, it has been a nightmare. So I totally understand your position. Star Wars is dead. Disney murdered it. Kathleen Kennedy murdered it. The mouse has taken over. Jet Set Radium says apparently Andor was good. I think that Andor was not. I think it was mediocre, honestly. I think a lot of people place way too much praise on Andor. I don't think Andor was that good. I watched Andor when it came out, and for the most part, I found I was not like on the edge of my seat. I wasn't really interested in what was going on. I really didn't care what happened in Andor that much. It was, some people I have heard say that it is not a valid criticism of a property to call it boring, because that's subjective. And to a certain degree, I would agree with that. It is subjective as to whether or not something is boring. But I did find myself bored most of the time when I was watching Andor. I think maybe it was something about the pacing of the show. I think it has to do with the fact that it's a TV show. And I guess it depends on the way that certain TV shows are depicted and how they're paced. But Andor just felt like a slog to get through. It was not fun to watch, except for a few parts. A few parts of the show were fun to watch, but for the most part, it was slow and it was kind of boring. And not because it was filled with like intellectual dialogue where I had to really think about what characters were saying, but because really nothing was happening. So it was kind of like, in some ways, it was kind of like the Ahsoka show. There's just lots of like empty gaps where really not much is happening. And they spent a lot of money on Andor as well, which is unfortunate because it obviously did have a decent creative direction. And like Rogue one thing I did like about Andor is that it didn't specifically attempt to shit on any previous characters that were established in the franchise. You know, Rogue One created new characters, most of which were not very good characters, but they created them. And so even if the characters weren't that good, nobody really cared because they're totally new characters. And the thing that's so egregious about a lot of the other Disney properties is they take existing characters and they shit all over them. So Emperor Grievous says, I will fight for a future without Karens. A future where there are no Karens. What do you hope to accomplish, Grievous? A future where there are no Karens. Qui-Gon says, Andor wasn't woke anything except woke. It was quite good, to be honest, but it doesn't really have anything with Jedi or Sith. They do have a lesbian couple. I think I would define that as pretty woke. A lesbian couple. They found the only lesbian couple in the galaxy, and they put them in Andor. So I'd say that's pretty woke. That's the primary reason. My primary hatred of Andor comes from the only love interest in the show is between the two lesbian characters, which, as a heterosexual man, I did not give a shit about. And I've said it before, you know, one of the reasons why a lot of these Hollywood movies are failing is because they are attempting to appeal to a minority of the population. And, you know, it's just a fact, minorities don't make money because there's just not a lot of money to be gotten from them, okay? There's not going to be 10 billion gay people that show up to your Star Wars premiere to watch it because there's just simply not that many. There's just not enough gay people to show up to your movie. And so if you make a movie about gay people, you know, heterosexuals don't have to be gay, you know that, right? Like, and they're not interested in gay relationships because they're not gay. They're heterosexual, and because they're heterosexual, they would prefer to see a heterosexual relationship on screen because that's what they like, and that's what they naturally like. And there's nothing wrong with heterosexuals wanting a movie about heterosexuals getting together because they're heterosexual. Duh. And so when you make movies and TV shows with minority sexualities, they're generally not going to do that well for one simple reason. Heterosexuals are not interested in watching gay people get it on screen. That's just not something that they're interested in. I'm not interested in seeing that. I don't want to see anything like that because I'm heterosexual. Not because I hate gay people, but because I'm not gay. And because I'm not gay, I don't really care to see gay people in TV shows and in movies because I'm not gay. And if you, with your morality, want to say it's okay to be gay, well, then it's also okay not to be gay. And so it's just something I'm not interested in. And clearly a lot of other people are not interested in it too because they don't show up. So JR says, is a natural response to be disgusted by immorality. I agree. Jet Set Radium Future says, as long as it's not forced, it takes good writing. I would generally disagree with that. I think that those relationships are always forced. Like, when it comes to media, I have not to this day. It's because, you know, my value system doesn't allow me to look at that and say, I like that. And so every time I see it in movies or TV shows, I say, I don't want to see this. And a lot of other people are like that too, even if they won't say it because it's not the right thing to say. Oh, you can't say that, that's not nice. Like, do they give a shit when they talk about the cis heterosexuals? Like, oh, we've had enough of you. It's time for you to get out of movies. Now it's time for gay people to be in movies. It's like, bro, like, there's movies made for gay people. Go watch those movies. Why do you have to put all this stuff in all of our movies? Like, clearly Star Wars, look, the original Star Wars trilogy, it's a heterosexual trilogy, okay? Well, I was gonna mention Luke and Leia at first, and I was like, well, Han Solo and Leia, yes. I don't think that George Lucas intended to have Luke and Leia be potential love interests. He wrote it in that she was his sister later, okay? He didn't plan that out, all right? So that's totally different, all right? It's not the same. You're like, oh, well, what about Luke and Leia? They're like in their incestual relationship. It's not like they knew, all right? Because George Lucas hadn't told them yet, because the Force hadn't written their story yet. A bit unusual. Jet Set Radium, thank you for the super chat. He says, what are you editing, and do you play Star Wars The Old Republic? I have not played The Old Republic, and I am also editing the title. The title of this video is This the End for You, Kevin? I'm trying to make a Home Alone Star Wars video. I'm gonna have Anakin and Obi-Wan. I'm gonna try and make this fit. I'm gonna have Anakin and Obi-Wan in New York City, and Kevin is gonna be throwing bricks down on Anakin. Qui-Gon says Luke and Leia kissing doesn't make it gay. That's true. It's not gay, but it is incest. But, I mean, I suppose you could say technically it's not incest. Like, you could kiss your sister, and it wouldn't be incest. It's incest once you go too far, okay? Because there are lots of... Look, it's an American cultural... To clarify, it's an American cultural thing to not kiss your family members. But there are lots of cultures throughout the world that have kissed their family members, even on the lips, and it's considered normal, okay? Because it's not... Because incest involves something far more. There's far more stuff that's involved with that, you know, besides just, you know, kissing. I guess it depends on what kind of kiss, but, you know, family members can kiss each other. That doesn't mean they're incestuous. There's nothing wrong with family members kissing each other, showing affection. Master Black says, I have a character there called Pink Man, and he is in pink. Oh, Star Wars The Old Republic. Shubham Patil says, Game of not Thrones, but stars Luke/Leia. Literally just a Kiwi says, they weren't like aware that they were related, but I get that. Emperor Palpatine says, no, kissing your sister, Jar Jar, you hear? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with kissing your sister. Hugging and kissing your sister is allowed. It's allowed. There's nothing evil or gross about that. You should love your family members. That's a good thing. You should love your family members. That doesn't mean you should touch your family members inappropriately, okay? That's not what I'm saying. And if you think I'm saying that, well then, your head's in the wrong space. That's not my problem. Captain Keys, Master Black says with tongue. No, not with tongue. What the hell is wrong with you? Captain Keys says, I don't know, she's probably trying to reverse engineer Forerunner technology or something. I'll email you her number or something. Great. Give me Cortana's number. JR says, back in the day, old movies, if it depicted a man and a woman making out, that meant they're going to get married. Yeah. Does this mean, Mom, Dad, does this mean they're getting married now? Yes, dear. They are getting married now. Mom, Dad, are they getting married? Captain Key says, giving your mom the odd kiss is fine, but really any other family members is weird. Again, like I said, that's an American cultural thing. There's some families that are more physically affectionate. That's fine. Again, you know, obviously there are limits. There's lines to be drawn. Okay, you shouldn't be taking each other's clothes off or anything like that. That should be obvious. Okay, I'm just clarifying though. For anyone who's confused, and there are a lot of confused people out there. Jet Set Radium Future says, what do you do for a living, Jar Jar, if you don't mind me asking? I make YouTube videos. This is what I do for a living. For the time being, I decided to try as an experiment to see if I could do this full time. So this is I think this is my 4th month doing this full time, and it's been working so far, but this month, the projection for this month is going to be a failure, potentially. And if it is a failure, I've given myself a rule, and that is, if this channel fails me for 3 months when it comes to paying my bills, then I'm going to go back to getting a regular job. So for the first 3 months, it worked. And this month may end up being a failure. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if I ever do decide to stop doing this full time, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop making videos. It just means that I'm not going to be doing it full time. Captain Key says, I hate to break it to you, Jar Jar, but Cortana already has her eyes on Chief. She looks at him the same way Halsey used to look at me. Very interesting. How fascinating. Jet Set Radium says, do you play games? Yes, I play Oblivion, Halo. I haven't played League of Legends on stream yet. Master Black says, I think Blender is failing your progress. Blender's not the reason why this month might be a failure. The view count was falling before I started working on Blender. So, but I do really want to learn Blender for other reasons. One of the main reasons I want to learn Blender is because I want to make my own sci-fi universe. Nicholas Porter says, do you sell merch? Yeah, there's a link to my Redbubble account on my main YouTube page, but I pretty much don't make any money on my merch, so I mean, but if you want to get like a Jar Jar Studios Plus t-shirt, that's cool. Master Black says, you could try Gary's mod though, where you can do crazy things and animations with Star Wars models. I like that idea, but also no, because I need to stick to one program. If I try to learn multiple programs at the same time, and I really do need to do Blender, I must do Blender. And the reason why I must do Blender is because Blender is much more versatile. It will allow me to do a lot more than Gary's mod will. in the future. I know that there are lots of possibilities with Gary's mod, but I feel like the possibilities are much greater with Blender. So I want to learn how to use Blender and make my own animations and stuff. So. Emperor Palpatine says tomorrow's Christmas. It's practically here. Pretty sure Christmas is on the 25th, Emperor Palpatine. Unless Christmas for you happens on the 20th, on Coruscant.
How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Apparently not.
The observation platform at the top of that spire.
I sense Kanduku.
I sense a trap.
Next move.
Spring the trap.
R2, go back. I need you to stay with the ship.
Yeah, take this. Wait for orders. You press the stop button? No.
There's more than one way out.
You want to get moving, R2?
Qui-Gon says Life Day is on the 20th. Life Day? Master Black says also if you learn a lot of programs, then a lot of companies will be fighting for you. Yeah, but if I learn Blender, maybe I can be my own company. How many companies will fight for you if you learn Gary's mod? I feel like no companies would fight for you if you knew Gary's mod. I know Gary. What do you know? I know Gary's mod. Most companies would be like, okay, you know Gary's mod, like big deal. Now, if you said I know Blender, then they would be like, ooh, because everyone knows, especially in like professional spaces, what Blender is. I'm sure a lot of people know what Gary's mod is too, but Gary's mod is more of like a, it's different. It's different. Master Black says mostly YouTubers will want you if you show them your skills. Captain Key says no companies use Gary's mod. That's probably true. I would say. Master Black says, but with Blender, Maya, and other stuff, the big companies will want you. Exactly. That's why I gotta learn Blender. If I can learn how to do Blender. Graphics design, that's what they call it. Is that what they call it? It's called graphics design. Matt H says, I think the only company that is hiring people who know Gary's mod is Taco Bell. Ooh, Taco Bell! Literally just a Kiwi says your editing skills are actually amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wish they were better. I wish they were better. I see some of the stuff that other people do, like Free Boredom or there's other animation and editors that make stuff that is so much better than mine. At least some of their stuff. It depends on the video. Him says, ever heard of Glitch Productions? I don't think so. Master Black says Vegas Pro and CapCut are my jam. Captain Keys says, to be honest, the Skibbity Toilet guy probably uses SFM rather than Gary's mod. The Skibbity Toilet guy is amazing. I remember watching his videos before he did Skibbity Toilet, and he did some really good videos back then. It's crazy to see where he is now. Like, the guy that made Skibbity Toilet is without a doubt a multi-millionaire. A multi-millionaire from what? He made a meme about heads in toilets that blow each other up. That's so amazing. I love that. I wish I could get that many views for that. That's just amazing. Skibbity bop bop bop. Yes, yes. A bunch of little kids growing up. There's an entire generation. 10 years from now, an entire generation is gonna look back and say, yeah, I remember watching Skibbity Toilet when I was 10 years old. Those were the times. You know, the way in which millennials will look back on the prequels and be like, when those Star Wars movies came out, that was the best thing ever. That's exactly 10 years from now. That's exactly what kids are gonna be talking like. Like 20-year-olds are gonna be like, Skibbity Toilet was the most amazing thing ever. Skibbity Toilet was the shit. Skibbity Toilet. Skibbity Toilet! Qui-Gon Jinn says, Jar Jar, his cells have the highest concentration of brain rot I've seen in a life form. I am filled with brain rot. Jet Set Radiant Future says the prequels are also trash. The originals were the best. Dang. You're about to be burned alive, Jet Set Radium. People in the chat are about to burn you alive for that. How dare you say anything against the prequels? How dare you? No, I agree. I do agree with you. I think it's inarguable. The best trilogy of all when it comes to Star Wars is the original trilogy. That's what made the Star Wars fan base to begin with. That's the only reason why the prequels were as popular as they are anyway, is because the original trilogy was where it was at. It was the best. It was basically the best fantasy sci-fi series that was ever made during like the 1980s and 90s. Or I should say the 1970s and 80s. Because, I mean, the last movie came out in 85. But the original trilogy, like, those movies are they're just really good. And it's true that the prequels are inferior to the original trilogy. The prequels are not as good. The sequels are definitely worse than the prequels for sure. And Nicholas Porter says Revenge of the Sith is a masterpiece. There's nothing better than Obi-Wan's boots. Revenge of the Sith is good. Jet Set Radium says Revenge of the Sith is the worst of the prequels. Okay, well, I have to disagree with you there. I would say Now, to some degree, I would say that people go way too far in saying Attack of the Clones is the worst of the prequels. Because when you rewatch it, there's actually a lot of really cool things in Attack of the Clones, but... Literally just the Kiwi says, I think I only like the prequels because everything clicks together. Well, I like the prequels because of... I think the prequels are a lot more memeable than the original trilogy. And I think that's partially because the prequels were well made, but also they were well made in some areas and poorly made in other areas. The thing about the sequels is the only memes that come out of the sequels are like the worst moments. But the thing with the prequels is that it's like a combination of like bad and good. It's like, I would say it's like almost a perfect combination of bad and good. So there's lots of moments in the prequels that can be memed. I think a lot more than the original trilogy. But that could also just be because, you know, a lot of the people who grew up with the original trilogy are dead now. So they died. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of old people, they die. And so now the only people that are around are the people that watched the prequels as a kid. So, you know, and who knows, maybe in 20 years the same thing will happen with the sequels. Maybe. Perhaps. And maybe there will be tons of people that will look back on the sequels and say, oh, the sequels, they were so good. I remember watching them in theaters, and it was like my entire childhood, and I love the sequels. They're so amazing. J.J. Abrams is a genius. Maybe that will happen 10 years from now. And if it does, maybe I'll be here to capitalize on it. Maybe I'll be here to capitalize on it and say, yeah, that's right. They weren't so bad, were they, kids? They were pretty good movies. Now give me your money. Jet Set Radium Future says, Phantom is the worst, then Attack of the Clones. What? No! Phantom Menace is the best Star Wars movie ever made. Don't you dare say anything bad about the Phantom Menace. Do you know what channel you're on right now? How dare you? Him says, what about the 7th movie in Star Wars like that feature Rey Palpwalker? The 7th movie in Star Wars, in my opinion, is actually the worst one. I think The Force Awakens is actually the worst out of all of the sequels. The worst one is the first one that they made. The second worst one is The Last Jedi, and then the best one is The Rise of Skywalker. It goes from worst to best like that for a reason. The reason is because first of all, the entire sequel trilogy is dog shit. It's terrible. But what redeems certain parts of the sequel trilogy is the memes. And the best memes come from The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. There are very few memes that come from The Force Awakens. And that's because The Force Awakens suffers from a serious problem. The serious problem is that The Force Awakens is extremely mediocre. It's basically just a carbon copy of A New Hope, except it's horribly done. And The Rise of Skywalker, the reason why The Rise of Skywalker is the best sequel trilogy movie is because it is filled to the brim with like stupidity. There are so many like hilarious stupid moments in The Rise of Skywalker. Like somehow Palpatine returned. They fly now. Like it's so cringy, but also it's funny because of how stupid it is. They fly now? Yeah, they fly now. It's ironically it's funny because it's stupid. And then also just Palpatine, just watching basically the sequels gave us a third version of Palpatine. The original trilogy gave us the first version of Palpatine. The prequels gave us the second version, and the sequels gave us the third version. And the third version of Palpatine is in my opinion, just as like hammy and hilarious as like prequel Palpatine. Prequel Palpatine really hammed it up in Revenge of the Sith, and the same thing happened in The Rise of Skywalker. Some of the things that he says is just kind of ridiculous. So Jet Set Radium Future says, I seen The Force Awakens, but I had never seen the last two and never will. Yeah, understandable. Nicholas Porter says, agree, Jar Jar 100%. Ian McDiarmid was great in episode 9. That was the best part of the whole movie, and it's said at the end. And he also has the highest power level that you've ever seen Palpatine at. Basically, the thing that they really succeeded with in The Rise of Skywalker is they essentially created like a huge fan fiction film for Palpatine fans, basically. Unfortunately, for the rest of everyone else, they all died like chumps. You know, Luke Skywalker got killed off. You know, and some part of me, because of the way Mark Hamill is in real life, some part of me thinks that he kind of deserved the destruction of the character of Luke Skywalker, because honestly, Mark Hamill's kind of insufferable in real life. Like he's a maxed out liberal, like to the extreme. Not like there's not like any balance to him. Like he's been suffering from that orange man syndrome for like 8 years. So in some way, I think it's kind of like poetic justice that Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker was totally demolished in the sequels. It's kind of like it's the story of Mark Hamill. He started out as a hopeful. He started out as a hopeful young soul in Hollywood, and now he's a shriveled up old man that constantly tweets about dumb things. Qui-Gon says, when someone asks me to watch the sequels, this is my reply. Credits will be fine. Master Black says, good thing Skeleton Crew and Andor happened as TV shows, because TV shows would have been hated too. Mandalorian, for example, had a few good episodes per season because the rest is just the same stuff others do. Yeah, I liked Mandalorian a lot. There are problems with it, but like I could actually sit down and watch The Mandalorian and for the most part enjoy myself. Liz says, I love the first 2 Home Alone movies. They've been playing at my house a lot. The first 2 Home Alone movies are the only Home Alone movies, by the way. The first 2 Home Alone movies are the only ones. Anyone that tries to tell you there's more than the first 2 Home Alone movies, there are not. I don't know what they were thinking with the other Home Alone movies. Like, why they bothered to call it Home Alone 3 when it was clear that it wasn't Home Alone 3. Like, they didn't use, I can't even pronounce the kid's name that they used for Home Alone. They didn't even use the kid that played Kevin. They didn't even use him for Home Alone 3. So, like, why? Oh, and it wasn't even like it was anyone related to him either. I remember when I watched Home Alone 3 for the first time, I thought that the kid in Home Alone 3 was going to be like in some way related to Kevin or something. But not only was he not related, like the story had no connection whatsoever to the original Home Alone in any way. Liz says the other ones are not Home Alone. Captain Key says Mando Series 3 was crap. It definitely was. Mandalorian Season 3 was terrible. It was so terrible. I was sad. I was sad because Mandalorian was the only thing that Disney had succeeded at creating that was any good. And and they managed to F it up, which is extremely sad. Because I wanted it to succeed. I want Star Wars to be good. Home Alone 2 is really funny. Yeah, Home Alone 2 is, I think, the end of the era of like sequels being good. I guess maybe Toy Story 2 was also an exception to that. Maybe Toy Story 2 was where it ended, and after that, any sequels to movies ended up being garbage. If anyone can think of any sequels that came out after Toy Story 2 that were any good, then let me know. And by good, I don't mean like decent, I mean like really good. Like known for being better than the original. Like Toy Story 2 is better than the original Toy Story. And Home Alone 2 is better than the first Home Alone. Revenge of the Sith. No, trilogies don't count because they're intended to be sequels. I mean like unintended sequels where they make a movie but they're not planning on making another movie. Revenge of the Sith, they already had planned to make another, like they had already planned to make another one. So Revenge of the Sith does not count when it comes to like good sequels. What I mean by good sequels is like they don't have a trilogy planned and they don't have sequels planned. They just make a movie and they see it does really good, so they make a second movie, and that second movie ends up being better than the first one. You know, like Terminator, for example. The first Terminator movie plays out more like a horror film, like an 80s horror film. And then the second one is totally different. It plays like an action film. Because the second one, like, they didn't have a Terminator like franchise planned out. They just made the movie and they saw it did really well, so like, let's come back, let's make a second one. Literally, just a Kiwi says, like some series and movies and shows, I feel like they just made more because they thought people wanted more, but in reality they didn't and ended up getting more hate. No, in every case, whether it's a good movie or series, people want to see more. People want to see more of good things. But the reason why it gets hate is because they fail. Because they don't succeed in making something that's either as good or better than the original. Master Black says Terminator 2 was awesome. Terminator 2 is the best Terminator movie that has been made. Terminator 2 was better than the first one. Oh, damn it, I forgot to... Bro, I can't believe I forgot to... I forgot to set the path for this. Master Black says, I like the Terminator with Emilia Clarke too, by the way. There, in the end, the Terminator gets an upgrade. I've heard that one was trash. But it is true. A lot of people like Emilia Clarke because she is a very attractive actress, isn't she? Well, I mean, maybe she used to be. She's kind of starting to get old now. She's starting to get old. She's following the way of all the other actresses. They're pretty for a while. And then they get a bunch of plastic surgery. And then they realize they start getting older, and to cover it up, they start getting a bunch of plastic surgery, and then they look really weird, and then they look ugly. Because they look like lizard people. Instead of just aging normally, like, and being a normal human being, and being like down to earth and like a kind person, instead of being like a freak. Instead of being like some freaking freak that talks about like killing their own babies and stuff, and how men are terrible and we need to destroy the patriarchy. Like, most actresses are just so out of touch. Like, they're totally insane. Like, that you would have that kind of opinion when you literally get millions of dollars and you live like the most easy, cushy lifestyle that you could possibly imagine compared to the rest of society and most people that are, you know, working at Walmart and flipping burgers and stuff, and you're like, oh, the patriarchy is destroying women, and the reason why we can't get ahead is because men. And it's like, you know, most men are working like a 9-to-5 job and they don't have any power in society, and they're not rich, and so it's kind of falling on deaf ears there, buddy, pal. So they're whacked out. Liz says, did anyone go to see Gladiator 2? I didn't, because the first movie is unbeatable, but I'm curious about how it was. I watched a review of it. Some people say it's good because it follows the first one, but other people say it's also mediocre because it follows the first one, but it doesn't do it as good as the first one did. And I also, I don't know if anyone here watches The Little Platoon, but he did a review on it, and his review was really good. And basically, he analyzed all the things that didn't work about it. And there's a lot of things about Gladiator 2 apparently that they basically just try to copy the original, but they do it worse. So Master Black says, but seriously, imagine original Sarah Connor meeting with Emilia Clarke Sarah Connor. The multiverse must happen. I think at some point I would have agreed with that, but the multiverse stuff is just so awful right now. They took what could have been a good idea, I think, in some instances, and everyone just doing all this multiversal stuff, and it honestly just kind of ruined everything, because it ruined a lot of franchises, all the multiversal stuff, because what multiverse does is it allows anything to happen at any time, anywhere, for any reason, and that's just, it creates an environment where writers become extremely lazy and things don't make sense. And as I've explained before, I'll say it again, every single franchise, environment, movie, like every single movie, TV show, comic book, whatever story that you're creating, if you create a story, the audience needs to have concrete rules that are established as to how the world that you've created works. If people do not know how the world you created works, they cannot get invested in the story. And the problem with multiverses is that multiverses sets up a situation where the story can work any way that you want it to. There are no rules. And that's a huge problem. Like, if you have, for example, if you have magic in Harry Potter, there needs to be rules to that magic. You can't use magic at any time, for any reason, anywhere. And, you know, there are limitations on how much power people have. Like, spells do not have unlimited power. You can't do anything that you want with magic. You can do a lot of things, and a lot of things beyond the imagination, but not anything. So, yeah. So, like, you need to establish set boundaries and rules for things. And multiverses stuff, like, really ruins a lot of that. Liz says, yeah, Taylor Swift's opinions are kind of wacky. She says she's liberal and pro-environment, but flies private jets everywhere more than other celebrities. It's because obviously she gets paid to say that. Taylor Swift, like a lot of elites, is totally hypocritical, because it is true. The elites will fly around in private jets while they tell everyone else that they have to, like, eat bugs and live in pots. That's kind of the meme, but it is true. They are totally hypocritical, and that's why no one should listen to them, because these people will tell you that the world is going to end unless you use you have to use less gas and you have to use less electricity, or else the world is going to end. If they really truly believed it, then they'd be living it themselves, but they don't even believe it. So why should you take it seriously? And I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of people say the world isn't coming to an end, and a lot of this stuff is a hoax and it's fake. And I think that some of it is, but also some of it isn't. I think it's, you know, for example, it is a serious problem that there's tons of plastic in the ocean. That's a big problem. I think that there are environmental issues that do need to be addressed. But then there are also other issues which are, I think, less important, but they are blown out of proportion. So, and a lot of elites pretend like some things are worse than they actually are, just to like virtue signal. So Emperor Palpatine says I have to go to bed anyways. Bye everyone. You too, Jar Jar, if you're ever gonna shut up. Oh well, excuse me. Well, thank you for being here, Emperor Palpatine. Hope you have a nice night. Liz says, listen, I like some of her old music, and I just think she's kind of a hypocrite. You can't go shame people for using a straw when you fly private jets to go see your boyfriend across town. Yeah. Taylor Swift. It's insane to me how much people worship Taylor Swift. Like, she's a woman, okay? She made music. And I know the music made you feel good. That's great. And that's great that there are musical artists that make you feel good, but also, like, is it really that important? Like, there are so many other people that perform much more useful roles in society. Like, Taylor Swift's role in society is to entertain people. It's not an absolutely necessary role. Realistically, you know, plumbers and electricians should be treated better, and they are realistically more important than Taylor Swift. Plumbers, electricians, engineers, people that create the society that makes the reason why you get to live in an air-conditioned house or in a heated house is because there are hardworking people that are doing jobs that other people don't want to do, and yet we put Taylor Swift. I mean not me. There are lots of people that will put Taylor Swift on some kind of pedestal and be like, oh, and they'll scream and they'll jump up and down and they'll literally jump up and down and squeal with delight at the sight of Taylor Swift in some kind of tight outfit as she parades around on stage and sings a song like that. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? I mean, do you squeal with delight when you see your plumber or your electrician? Like, you should. You should, because they're going to turn your power back on. Because they're going to turn your power back on so that you could go on YouTube and watch more clips of Taylor Swift. So that you can listen to Taylor Swift on Spotify, you have to have your electrician come over. And, you know, maybe you should, like, toss him an extra $60 next time you see him. Jet Set Radiant Future says Taylor Swift has worked hard, though. I agree. She works hard. You have to work hard to be that successful, but also, like, in regards to the job that she does. Like, for example, I work hard, but, like, realistically, the job that I'm doing right now is not really that important to society. And it's superfluous. It's not absolutely necessary. It's a secondary job. You know, I think there is a place for entertainment and for streaming and for movies and for things like that. but I'm saying on the scale of importance, you know, a streamer's importance is much less than the people that hold up society. Jet Set Radiant Future says, wait, what's this? Melon Playground guy says, everyone ranked Taylor Swift on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey, that's not fair. You have to rate her on a scale of 1 to 10 when she was in her late teens, early 20s. You can't rate her now because she's old now. She's old now. You can't rate her now. You're supposed to rate kids. And by kids, I don't mean like little kids. I mean like kids as in like you're still considered a kid like when you're 18 to 21. That's when you're supposed to rate people. I'm referring to 18 to 20-year-olds as kids, okay? I'm not referring to like I'm not referring to kids, all right? Chill, relax. Hey, I know I'm a YouTuber, but I'm not that kind of YouTuber, okay? So get it out of your head. Literally just a Kiwi says, like, Taylor Swift sure has made an impact on society and has influence, but people like doctors, builders, etc. can actually help you live, and they make an impact so we can all live happily. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Mr. Shake Meme W says, hi. Qui-Gon says, Jar Jar? Question mark? Because I'm older now. I'm referring to everyone that's younger than me as a kid, okay? I'm not speaking of like actual kids that are like 13 years old and younger or something. Liz says, I agree that a lot of people in difficult jobs are underpaid and underappreciated. Well, I think that some of those jobs are not necessarily underpaid, but they are underappreciated. Like, I wouldn't say that someone flipping burgers at McDonald's is underpaid, but I would say that they're underappreciated. And there's a difference between the two. You know, there's a limit. There's obviously, you know, there's a limit to how much you can afford to pay someone who works a job that is, it's essentially a menial job. Like, factory workers are essential to the economy. They're extremely important. Now, that doesn't mean they should get paid lots of money, but because the tasks that they have to fulfill are rather simple, but they should be appreciated. And people that are factory workers shouldn't be looked down on as lesser than or worthless just because they don't make as much money. And I wouldn't say they necessarily should make more money. That doesn't mean that they should make like a shit wage. Okay, I definitely agree that some of these jobs, they do underpay a lot, and they really do need to pay more money. But also, they should be more appreciated than they are like increased. There should be an increase in appreciation more than there should be an increase in pay. Taku says, it is commendable that you have such self-awareness, Jar Jar. Some YouTubers think their worth is somehow essential to society. Oh, I was just talking about other YouTubers, Taku. my work as a YouTuber is extremely essential to society. I was just talking about all the other YouTubers. I was talking about all the other celebrities, everyone else in Hollywood, except for me. Master Black says, hey Jar Jar, when will you multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch? I have some cool emotes I wish to show in the Twitch chat. Well, I haven't started streaming on Twitch because I didn't really think that I haven't really thought that I could really make all that much more money on Twitch, like, but I don't know, maybe I'll consider it later. I've thought about streaming on Twitch before. I do have Prime, so I guess I might as well stream on Twitch. But I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to get that set up. Liz says, well, I think people who are willing to work should at least be able to have their basic needs met. Food, shelter, transportation. I agree. I think that the wages should reflect that to some degree. But I mean, there are also other problems that need to be considered as well. It is a fact of reality, because I worked in the service industry for a long time, and I'll probably end up working there again at some point. You know, if this doesn't work out, which there is a decent chance that it won't, I'm not delusional or anything, so there's a chance that this might not work out and I'll have to get a regular job, and then I'll just do YouTube part-time as I did before. But wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but it is true that a lot of people that are lower wages, that one of the reasons why they end up being so poor all the time is because they really are wasting their money on a lot of stupid things. When I worked at a restaurant, almost everyone without fail was drinking a lot of alcohol. They were smoking a ton of weed. They were buying vapes all the time. They were buying cigarettes all the time. And they were complaining about how they never had any money. And it's like, okay, well, if you gave up some of these vices that you had, you really wouldn't have that many money problems. And that's one of the problems, one of the big problems with the lower class is a lot of them don't restrict themselves in things like that. And so there are a lot of jobs which could pay for people's bills and could supply them with their needs if they just stop wasting. Because I was working the same job. I was still able to pay my bills. I was still able to save money, but a lot of my peers around me were not able to do that. And that's because they were spending their money on a lot of really stupid things. And there was a girl that I was working with that almost every single time you turned around, she was going to a concert. Almost every few months, she was going to a concert. And those concerts, the tickets to those concerts are like $200 here, $200 there, $300 here, $300 there. And it's like, and then $1,000 here. And then she's going on a trip to Florida and she never has any money. And it's like, girl, you waste all your money. So, like, of course you don't have any money. So, you know, there is a balance to be made. I understand people do need to be paid a living wage, but also people need to stop spending all their money. And the reason why a lot of people complain that they're not making enough money is because they're spending too much of it. So it's a balance. It's a balance. You know, there are companies that really do need to step up their game when it comes to taking care of their workers and making sure they're paid well. But then there's also a lot of regular people that really need to get a control on their finances and stop spending too much money. Lady Q says, my former roommate's wife is a doctor, been working at it for years in massive debt and still working for not quite pennies while she gets all the rotations and residencies and stuff done. That is unfortunate. Like there was a doctor. I think that a lot of these, I feel like a lot of these colleges are like screwing people over. I do agree, like with the whole college thing, there's a whole bunch of people that are engaging in really, there's a lot of places, I want to say banks, but there's also like any place that like hands out loans. I think they're mostly just banks that do that, but a lot of them are very predatory, and there's a lot of people that are going to college and they're getting these college loans which they shouldn't be getting, and they end up getting college degrees that really don't get them any money in the future, and then they end up in big debt. And to some degree, I think that those loaning practices are kind of predatory, and they shouldn't be loaning money to those people. If you are not going to college to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something else like that, then you really shouldn't be going to college. Otherwise, you're mostly just wasting your money. So the student loan situation is out of hand, and it's crazy. But it's unfortunate that a lot of people have been, because a lot of people are young when they take on student loans, and they get screwed because they're not able to make the right decision at the time. Lady Q says, yeah, but you have to keep in mind that jobs should pay more for than just bills and food. They should pay for living wages means you should be able to live and have some fun. I agree with that. I'm just saying that some of these people were, that the people that I'm talking about were constantly spending all their money. You know, and they were not thinking about the future at all. Like, they didn't save at all. They just spent their money all the time. And they spent it on stupid things, like they go buy a bunch of candy or whatever. And not even like go to Walmart and buy candy in bulk and then like have candy in your house and then have a little bit of candy each day. It's like they'll go to a corner drugstore and they'll pay double, triple the price for some candy, and they'll do that every single day. And they'll buy a pack of cigarettes every single day. And it's like, okay, if you want to have money, you gotta spend it better. You can still live and have fun, but like, you be smart with how you spend your money. Qui-Gon Jinn, the wise Qui-Gon Jinn, says people waste all their money on useless stuff and then complain about not having enough. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Jar Jar, give me advice to talk to girl from dating app. Oh, it's really easy. This is how talking to girls on dating apps is super easy. All you have to do is convince her, and it won't be hard, that you're going to be her Sigma. And it's a very simple process. You just have to tell her your feelings. You have to tell her how you feel about her. You have to tell her, I think you're the most beautiful, wonderful girl in the world. Can I be your Sigma? Can I be your girl? I got the skibby riz that will make you fall in love with me, and I guarantee you that will work. It works for me every single time. I've gone on tons of dates like that. It's super easy. Super, super easy. Liz says, when I got accepted to colleges, I didn't go to my dream school to avoid crippling student loan debt. I'm walking out with no student loans with a research job lined up, and I'm very happy. That's good. It's good to hear about people who actually like are, they plan things out ahead of time instead of like diving into it and then they lose it. Lady Q says, what I found frustrating is I'm on disability. I can't live on it. I live with a partner, and that's why I'm not homeless. Well, I am sorry to hear about that. It is very difficult being disabled. I know a little bit about that because I was temporarily disabled when I chopped my fingers off, basically, and I had to get them sewn back on. And I was kind of like an invalid for a while. I couldn't use my right hand, and yeah, that was very frustrating. Although it was probably different than your disability, but it was true. I was unable to do a lot of things that I usually was able to do. So it was very painful experience. And it was only for like 6 months, so I'm glad I'm not disabled anymore, but I'm sorry to hear that you're in that situation. Master Black says, girls on dating apps are running away from me. Master Black, well, you have to tell them what I just told Gorilla Monkey Man Butt. Emperor Grievous says, I was literally a delivery man, life was good. I like delivery. I used to be a delivery driver, and it was simple. You just drive to the places, you bring the boxes, and then you just drive on. Master Black says, the moment I tell them join the dark side of the Force, and then they block me. Why me? I think it's because obviously you're trying to hit up light side girls, and they don't want to join the dark side of the Force. They want a light side guy. So if you're a dark side guy, you gotta find a dark side girl. You gotta find a goth girl. Gotta find one of those dark side goth girls if you're gonna be on the dark side. Liz says, I just completely avoid dating apps. I do as well. I do not use dating apps. I did like 8 years ago, I think, and I don't do it anymore. I do not use dating apps at all. And nor will I. I will not use dating apps ever again. I refuse to use them ever again. I feel like I'm some kind of thing when I'm on a dating app. I'm a product. I'm trying to sell a product to a bunch of people that are having so many products shoved in their face that they really don't want to buy my product. So it's like, you know what? I think I don't want to be on here anymore. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Jar Jar, are you Vietnamese? No, I am not Vietnamese. But if I did live in Vietnam, I'd be living like a king on this YouTube revenue. Because I don't live like a king here. But if I was in Vietnam, I imagine my YouTube revenue would make me live like a king. That would be fantastic. Emperor Grievous says, I never really cared about dating. I'm good with just being someone's friend. Lady Q says, dating apps, girls seem to treat it so unseriously. I'm on those too, and no one swipes. People just ghost all the time. It's not just you. Yeah. I mean, that's the reason. That's the main reason I stopped using them. Literally no one on there is serious about meeting anyone. They are called dating apps, but no one actually goes on dates, and that's the problem with them. The way they could fix it, and this is the problem, is that no one would use this dating app, but the way they could fix it is the dating app would just require people to actually go on physical dates. And if they don't do it, then they get kicked off the dating. Like, they ban you from the dating app or something. Problem is that there's a bunch of other dating apps that don't require that. All the dating apps that exist would have to require that. They'd have to make like a legislation to require people that go on dating apps to actually go on dates, but they're never going to do that, so it just won't work. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Jar Jar, I go on dating app and only hooker messages me. I know that. Well, that was one of the issues that I had, was that every time I got a message, you know, the first like couple times I was excited. I was like, oh, someone sent me a message. No one ever sends me a message. I'm excited. Someone sent me a message. What? A notification. Someone sent me a message. I got one message. After 2 months of using this dating app, I got one message. I'm so excited. And then you look at the message and it's like, come to this website. Come to this website to F me. It's like, oh, so it's just a hooker. Okay. Never mind then. How disappointing. The first time I get a message and it's from a hooker. Why? Why is this? Yeah, disappointing. Jet Set Radiant Future says, you're definitely American. I definitely am. Qui-Gon says, isn't Vietnam communist? Communist. Qui-Gon Jinn says, he was trained in the Riz arts. My only conclusion is that it is a Sigma. Yes. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Jar Jar, you would be king in Vietnam and the Philippines. King! I would be king in the Vietnam. Well, that's one thing I will say, and there was one exception that when I was on, I once joined a Filipino dating site, and I have to say my experience on a Filipino dating site was like night and day. The difference in the way I was treated was so significant. It was actually like, it was too good to be true. It was honestly kind of suspicious. I had to ask every single girl that I messaged. I said, we have to get on Skype and I have to see you in person, otherwise I'm not going to believe you're a real person. And most of them got on Skype, and this was before Zoom. Most of them got on Skype, and I was actually able to have conversations with like real girls from the Philippines. And I mean, they could have. Now it's possible that they could have all been faking it, and maybe they were just trying to get. Maybe they thought I was like a rich American or something. But you know, I have to admit, I have a bit of yellow fever after dealing with those with the foreign dating apps, because they were just so nice. Like, it wasn't hard to carry. It wasn't too difficult to carry on a conversation with them, because they just seemed genuinely interested in talking to me, as opposed to like women in America, which unfortunately all seem to be totally disinterested. Like, they don't even want to have a conversation with you. They take one look at your profile and they swipe away, and they don't even want to talk to you. And so the difference in how I was treated was so extreme. And the only sad part is I just don't have the money to go overseas to go on dates with a Filipina and then get married to her and then bring her back to the States. But maybe I'll do that in the future. I don't know. I feel like American dating is just cooked. It's just cooked. Unless it just happens upon me in America, I literally have to go to another country or something, because like Lady Q said earlier, no one takes dating seriously at all. It's all just, it's fleeting. Some people decide to do it or don't. Like, they'll ghost you, and people are so flaky in America. I don't know why. I can tell you, I can tell you that I have never in my entire life, never have I ever in my entire life asked a woman out on a date and not actually gone to pick her up and take her out on a date. I have never in my life said, I'm going to take you out on a date, and then didn't do it. Never, ever in my entire life have I done that. And yet, for some reason, I can't get that same level of consistency from the opposite sex. I have been ghosted several times. I have been flaked on quite a few times as well. And I don't know where this attitude comes from, why people think it's acceptable to, or why women, I should say women, because, I'm a man, so obviously, and I'm heterosexual, so I'm dating women, and this is how women treat me. So it doesn't mean that all women treat me like this, but I've had enough experiences to say that there are a lot of women out there that think it's just okay to agree to go on a date with someone and then just not show up. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know who their parents were, or like who their mom was, and whether or not it was acceptable. Like, how can you, as anyone, like as a man or a woman, say, I am going to agree to go on a date with someone and I'm just not going to do it? Like, that's just lying. You're just lying to people. You're wasting their time, and you're stealing the time from people. So it's really rude behavior, and I've never done that. I don't do that. I don't agree to go on dates with people and then don't do it. And so I don't know why women do that to me. I don't do that to them. Lady Q says, I feel like I can empathize with the guys a bit, because a roll girl and girls seem ridiculously picky and cancerous on apps. It makes you feel very lonely. I'm sorry, it's hard on all of us. Yeah, that's the standard state of things in the United States of America. And based on what I've heard, it's the standard thing in a lot of the Western countries as well. Britain, France, Netherlands, Australia. Yeah, all those places. But Jet Set Radiant Future says women without fathers are bad news. You know, unfortunately, a lot of them are, and that's, I guess, because in some ways there's like a cycle of hatred that's created because women that don't have any fathers when they grow up, they in some ways sometimes feel a bitterness against men, and they feel like men don't deserve their best or anything, without realizing that other men are not responsible for what their father did to them, and you know, other men may not treat them that way. So it's just like there's like this vicious cycle of people having bad experiences and then lashing out at other people and treating other people poorly because of their previous bad experiences. So Dream Architect says, Jar Jar, I met ex-wife on Match 10 years ago. We divorced 18 months later. That is, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess that's one of the best things that's ever happened to me, is not getting married has meant that I don't get divorced. That's a good thing. I think that whatever my situation is, it would be far worse if I was getting divorced. So as bad as it is to be sad and lonely by myself all the time, blah blah blah, I guess it's better than being sad and lonely and then also losing all my money and everything that I hold dear because my wife is divorcing me and taking everything from me. Lady Q says 100% of divorces begin in marriage. That's true. That's true. Unfortunately. Alright. Let's see. What else do we need? Emperor Grievous says things they can easily dispose of. Oh, people see you as tools, things they can easily dispose of. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. A lot of people just suck in general. But, you know, when it comes to, like, dating and, like, dating stuff, a lot of you know, if you ever notice that I do talk more about women than men, that's the only reason that is because, you know, I'm a man and I date. And I'm only interested in dating women. So obviously I talk about women and I don't really talk as much about men because I don't date men. And I know there are lots of bad men out there, but it's like, well, hey, nobody's given me a chance. So like, I still haven't had a chance to find out if I'm a bad man or not. You know what I'm saying? I still haven't had a chance to be a bad man. Like, at least give me a chance to be a bad man. There's some... You know, give me a chance to be a bad man and I can prove to you that I'm not gonna do that to you. Zombie N8, yo, what's going on? Zombie N8 says literally just literally just a Kiwi says I gotta go. Hey, well, thank you for being here. Hope you have a nice night. Qui-Gon Jinn says, men, we don't know what we did. We don't know what we did. Emperor Grievous says, we just want to be Superman. Superman? Oh, did you see the Superman trailer? I will say that Superman trailer actually looked pretty decent. My fear is that the best moments of the movie were shown, and then it's actually going to end up being... That's just my fear now. With every single superhero movie, my fear is that it's actually just going to end up being trash. That's my fear now with every single superhero movie. Unfortunately. Lady Q says, I think we should all try to love ourselves a little more. Maybe we should all do something nice for ourselves tonight. I had a couple of brownies. Will pet my fluffy kitty. What about you all? I think one of the main problems in dating is that people love themselves too much. And they think too much about themselves. I think that's the main problem in dating today, is people think too much about themselves and they don't think enough about others. They don't love others enough. They love themselves too much. That is not to say, of course, that you shouldn't love yourself. You know, you should love yourself. That's good. That's a natural thing to do. But also, like, I don't think most people have a problem with loving themselves. I think they have a problem with loving themselves too much most of the time. Although it's also good to brownies are delicious. I think that sounds really good. And also, I hope you enjoy petting your fluffy kitty. I do love cats, and I think if I got a pet, I would get a cat. My only concern is that I really don't have anything set up for. I guess I could set it up, but I don't really have anything set up for cats. And the highest thing in my house right now are like computer monitors. And so if I got a cat, the cat would be like jumping on top of the computer monitors to get on top of the highest thing in the house, and it would end up destroying the computers. So, but if I do ever get an animal again, I think I'll for sure get a cat, because I love cats. Cats are probably my favorite animal. Lady Q says, yeah, but we all seem very sad. We are very sad, but you know, that's why we're all here. That's why we're all here. We're all here. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, so one girl they fire, keep 50 guy and waste time. One girl they fire, keep 50 guy and waste time. Wait, what do you mean? What does that mean? Oh, the James, wait. No, Master Black's talking about James Gunn. Master Black says, Jar Jar, my cat died yesterday because of a tumor and she was 11 years old, so be prepared for stuff like that, because most of the cats are getting cancer when they get old. That's very sad. I'm sorry to hear that your cat died. Zombie Innate says, sorry to hear that, Master Black. Qui-Gon says, Gorilla Monkey Man Butt's ability to speak does not make him intelligent. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt's ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here. No, don't leave. Qui-Gon Jinn says, sorry to hear about your cat, Master Black. And Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Misa Spec. That's true, he's a spec.
Always on the move.
Always on the move.
Master Black says, well, we tried to save her, keeping her in the clinic, but in the third day, she passed away. Emperor Grievous says, I named my pug Tot because she reminded me of a tater tot. Ah, pugs. People say pugs are really ugly, disgusting creatures, but I think they're kind of cute. I mean, in some ways, I guess they're kind of gross, the weird snorting sounds that they make, but that's just because they can't help it. They're just genetically deficient animals, that's all. They're far removed from their ancestors, the wolves. So, you know, they act very strange. Zombie N8 says, how many original members are still here? It's like the old gang is gone, always on the move. A lot of people that used to be here a long time ago are still here, Zombie N8. You're the one that is oftentimes not here. But, you know, Melon Playground Guy's been here for a long time. Kiadi Mundi is here almost every live stream. Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi, I see him a lot. And these are all people I've been seeing for the last, you know, few months. So, like, the old gang is not gone. They just don't all come on at the same time. Melon Playground Guy says, old gang not gone. Lady Q says, thanks for chatting. I'm gonna head out. Hope you all have a good night. Hey, thank you for being here, Lady Q. Hope you have a nice night as well. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Emperor Grievous says, what am I considered on this channel? Well, I know you've changed your name a couple times. I don't remember who you were originally, Emperor Grievous, so I couldn't really answer that question.
Now, that's better.
Emperor Grievous says, Bad Piggy was my name when I first found this channel. How long ago was that? Qui-Gon says, where is the Duke Master? Is he safe? Is he alright? Yeah, he was here just the other day. But, I think he's pretty busy around the holidays, so he hasn't been on the live streams lately. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Jar Jar, I went date and gave girl Banana's gift. That's very good. That's very good. I think that pretty much guarantees you'll go on a second date for sure. You went to date and gave girl bananas. Good. Good. Ugh. You gave banana to girl. Good. I remember I was talking with a friend of mine the other day about this scene where R2-D2 blows up the two B2 battle droids with oil, and he was saying that it was a really stupid scene. He's like, the scene where R2-D2 blows up the super battle droids with oil is just ridiculous. It's so stupid. And I was like, I guess so. I guess so. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Qui-Gon, I am go on date, give the berry, nuts, and banana. Good idea. Qui-Gon says, if she starts telling you the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, you'll have to propose. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, rolling down the street, sipping on Qui-Gon gin and juice. Ooh. Zombie N8 says, what do y'all want for Christmas? I don't want nothing for Christmas because I don't celebrate Christmas. But if you want to give me a New Year's gift, I would say I would love to get a few $100s in super chats this year for a New Year's gift. I think that'd be fantastic. Doesn't all have to come from one person, but you know, everyone could chip in a little bit and help Jar Jar Studios Plus continue on. I guess everyone spent all their money on Christmas gifts this month because the amount of super chats have been significantly less than usual. Because they spent all their money on Christmas gifts. This is why I hate Christmas. Because I don't get anything. UFO_above says W stream again because it's a long stream. Well, it's only 2 hours. It's not that long yet. You have done that yourself. Emperor Grievous says, I want Gore to be back. Ah, yes. That is very sad. Gore is no longer with us. Those stinking Jedi just came into your lair and destroyed your pet, your favorite pet, Gore. How dare they? Qui-Gon says, I don't celebrate it either, but I also don't celebrate New Year. Well, I celebrate New Year, but I also don't celebrate New Year. Like, it's not like a huge deal. It's kind of like my birthday. It's not really a big deal. Zombie N8 says, Grievous probably wants another lightsaber. Oh, this was from a Minecraft stream. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, Jar Jar, what do you think about the Acolyte Season 2 news and Mandalorian movie news? Are you joking right now? Are they actually making a second season of the Acolyte? Because, If they are, I'm excited. Like, let's go. Second season of the Acolyte, let's go. I can make more Acolyte memes. It can't be. How much worse could it be, you know? Could it really be worse than season 1? It'll probably be better than season 1, you know? It's hard. It's a very low bar. They set the bar lower and lower each TV show. So what are the chances that this is going to be even worse than the last season? Probably low. So Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says this is like music they play in my jungle in the natives. Very interesting. Melon Playground guy says Jar Jar Studios, how do you make AI voices in 11 Labs using footage I have? What do you mean? How do I make voices? You just upload the MP3 files to 11 Labs, and then clone the voice. I'm confused. What do you mean? They tell you what to do. When you click on the button that says create a voice, you have to upload the voice files, and then once you're done uploading the voice files, then you like created the voice. It's not complicated or anything. You just plug them in and go. Here, I'll show you. See, is there a dark mode for this? I don't think there's a dark mode, unfortunately. Anyway, right here I can go to voices. I can click on this button, add new voice, and then you just go down to instant voice clone, and then you can name the voice whatever you want to name it, doesn't matter. And then you click this button, click to upload a file, or drag and drop audio or video files up to 10 megabytes each. So preferably you want to do audio files. Video files are going to end up being bigger, and so you just want to avoid using video files because, you know, they take up more space. So just use audio files because you only need the voice anyway. You don't need the video of the person talking. You just need the audio. So you click this button, and then you select from your audio. You select from the audio that's, you know, whatever audio you want to select from. And then once you click on it, you click open. Once you click the open button, then you go down here and you check the boxes, and then you click the button add voice, and that's it. And that's how you add the voice. Zombie N8 says the one that's super expensive per month. Oh, 11 Labs? Well, currently I pay, I think, $20 a month for 11 Labs, which I think I may in the future have to downgrade to maybe the $5 a month one, because I haven't really used 11 Labs as much as I thought I would. Melon Playground guy says, "Oh, I see my problem. I'm not subscribed to a." Yeah. You gotta pay. You gotta pay the subscription fee.
Always on the move.
You gotta pay. That's the thing. 11 Labs is not free, unfortunately. And I guess there's a good reason for it, because it's actually a really good program. So, like, for an AI program, it's really good. So. Master Black says 11 Labs used to be free like 1 or 2 years ago. Yeah, and it also used to be much worse than it is now. When 11 Labs was free, when it was like in its beta testing mode, basically. But once it actually ended up being really good, that's when they started charging for it. And like I said, with good reason, it's actually really good. 11 Labs is surprising. Like, I am surprised at how good it can be sometimes. You know the voice, you know the Palpatine versus the Younglings video? I literally have, remember that kid? That kid only speaks like one entire line in the entire movie. Master Skywalker, there are too many of them, what are we going to do? That's the only things he says in the entire movie. And I was able to construct a voice based off of that voice. Off of that one line. And the voice is actually pretty decent. Now, it's obviously, it has its shortcomings because there's literally only one line that I had. But I fed that one line to 11 Labs. And the result was, in my opinion, surprising at how good it was. Sniffing hot sauce, welcome. Yo, what's going on? Master Black says, how much for 11 Labs? Well, the lowest tier price that I had was the $5 a month one. And then I upgraded it to the $20 a month when I needed more characters. Zombie Innate says, why not move the videos you plan to use AI for and buy 11 Labs month you do have those videos? Because the characters carry over to the next month if you don't use them, up to a certain limit, but they do carry over, so even if I don't use all the characters, I still get to use them next month. But I really do need to use the characters. I need to start using up the characters. I need to make more Papa Palpatine podcast episodes or something. I need to figure out how to mass produce those very quickly so that I can use up my 11 Labs characters. Because I have way too many right now. Sniffing hot sauce says, Emperor Grievous and Qui-Gon, what do you think of my toilet? Qui-Gon, what do you think of my toilet and bidet? Toilet. That's a nice toilet. I like that toilet. That's a really nice toilet. Master Black says, mass production. Write tons of scripts even if you don't know if they will ever be made in the future or not. Then work on every script. That's the thing. If someone wants to help me out, if you're in the Discord and you have a good idea for a script video, hey, Qui-Gon Jinn or Melon Playground guy, whoever's, or I guess is Zombie Innate in the Discord? Whoever's in the Discord, if you have a good script idea, you can send me a script, and if you write out the script, you know, and I think it's good, I'll use it, and I'll make sure to let everyone know that you made it too. Sniffing Hot Sauce says, Jar Jar, I want to write a story screenplay about Star Wars. How do I send to Netflix? Well, I think you have to know someone at Netflix in order to do that. I don't think you're going to be able to do it either way. Emperor Grievous says, Jar Jar, would be nice of you to make a video of gore for my birthday. That would be nice. But, you know, I guess you could take some of that birthday money you have and you could send it over to me so that I could make that gore video, you know? Zombie N8 says, I completely forgot I had Discord. I forgot you had Discord too. Yes, I do have Discord. Qui-Gon Jinn says, by the way, Jar Jar, could you add me to the voice chat? Oh yeah, I'll do that. I will do that. I'll do that when I switch over to streaming Oblivion, and if you want, you can join the voice chat and you can talk. You can talk with me. You and me, we can talk in the voice chat. But just remember, you'll be on stream, okay? So don't say bad words, all right? Oh, I thought I exported this. Oh, no, I didn't. Zombie N8 says Batman celebrates his birthday as Bruce Wayne. Jar Jar question mark? Oh, Zombie N8 says I'm tempted to join it. Any chance you could give me the link? Yes, send an email to the YouTube email. To my YouTube email. The one that's on the channel. Send an email to that and I will send you the link through the email. I don't like to post the link in the YouTube chat. It's an exclusive club. It's special for special people. Special neurodivergent Jar Jar Studios Plus watchers. Special snowflakes are allowed only. Mullen Playground guy says, so it's VIP. Kind of. Not really, though. Qui-Gon says, don't worry, we have had worse conversations there. Trust me. Wait. Oh. Clanker? You can say Clanker. You can say Clanker anytime you want. Clanker's not a protected class because robots don't have feelings, okay? The reason why we don't say certain words is because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want their fifis to be hurt, okay? That's why we don't say certain words. But droids don't have feelings because they're robots, so you can say Clanker anytime you want. It's not a protected class. Nobody cares. Because droids aren't people. They don't deserve rights. They're just machines. They're things. They're tools. You wouldn't give rights to your vacuum cleaner. You wouldn't give rights to your wrench. You wouldn't give workers' rights to your blender. No. Because it's a machine. It's a thing. Zombie N8 says, Jar Jar, where in the channel did you say the email was? It's on the homepage. The links on the homepage, that's where it is. I think in the future I need to put this caveat. If you can't find the email on the main page, then you shouldn't be part of the server. Maybe that's a little bit too mean. Maybe you're too old to join the server if you can't find the email. Maybe you're like an old person or something. I can't find the Jar Jar, I can't find where the email is. Master Black says, Jar Jar, be careful what you are saying, because AI could be listening. By the way, I sent you an email. Excellent, Master Black. You will be added to the server. Zombie Innate says, what if that machine can think and feel? The machine can't think and feel because machines don't think. They're programmed, and they can't feel because they're programmed. They're incapable of feelings because they are machines. What don't you understand? Son, what don't you understand about droids, about machines? By the way, I heard droids is actually like a copyrighted term by Star Wars, and so like droids are like, you can't use the word droids. Like if you were to create your own sci-fi, you couldn't call your robots droids. You would have to call them something else. Zombie Innate says, all I see is your merch site, your green screen channel, and your Twitter link. Well, it's in the description. You have to click see more. You have to click this button that says see more. Bro, it should be there. I'm about to look at my own channel. It's right there. Zombie Innate says, you know from Detroit Become Human, androids? Well, I think you can call them I think you can... Ooh, yeah, androids. Actually, I need to look that up. Because I heard that. I think I heard it on a Star Wars Theory live stream, and that could have been misinformation. That Star Wars has a claim on the word droids, because it is true that there are androids and stuff like that, so I have to check. Is the term droid copyrighted by Disney? Based on the search results, Lucasfilm, now owned by Disney, owns the trademark for the term droid. The company registered the trademark in 1977, shortly after the release of the Star Wars film. It's the trademark, but not... Okay, in conclusion, the term droid is copyrighted. Okay, this is... Okay, this is an AI answer that I'm reading right now, and this is kind of a problem, this answer, because there's a difference between copyright and trademark. So this thing's possibly confused. Answer 1 of 6. Individual words are not protected by copyright. Writing that person X is being chased by droids would be copyright infringement only if it seemed that those droids were specific Star Wars characters. Hold on. Okay, this is the answer from David Mullick. He's a video game designer and producer since 6502. Okay, so he's been around for the future in a long time. Individual words are not protected by copyright. Writing that person X is being chased by droids would be copyright infringement only if it seemed those droids were specific Star Wars characters, BB-8, C-3PO, R2-D2, etc. Whether the use of the trademarked word droid constitutes trademark infringement depends on how likely the average consumer would think that the author's work is part of the Star Wars brand. Having the word droid being included in the title of a book series would almost certainly be considered trademark infringement, but the use of the word one time in the middle of a book would probably not be considered trademark infringement. Note that Lucasfilm thought that they would ultimately lose a trademark infringement lawsuit. They might, though, that even if Lucasfilm thought they would ultimately lose, they might still file such a lawsuit against the authors, since a company is required to constantly defend its trademark in order to continue to own that trademark. So my recommendation is to avoid using the word droids entirely. Disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. For legal advice, talk to your attorney. Okay, so basically you could theoretically use it, but you might want to avoid it because Lucasfilm might actually go after you. So Qui-Gon says we could all get copyrighted for using the word droid. No, you couldn't. You can't get copyrighted for just using a word. You can only get copyrighted for something if you're like creating, like distributing material to sell. You know, like you can't get copyrighted and also what he's talking about here is trademark, and trademark is a little bit different than copyright. So I don't remember the exact explanation for the difference between trademark and copyright, but there's a difference. I don't really know. Master Black says, there was this site called Droids or something like that. It was about uploading stick figure stuff made in the free stick figure animation software Pivot. Interesting. I've never heard of that software.
Have done that yourself.
Zombie and Nate says, I'm gonna go have a good night, everyone. Hey, thank you for being here, and good night, Zombie and Nate. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Master Black says, you can now bend the sticks. There is also there's also motion tween, but it sucks, so I don't mention it. But you just did mention it.
Always on the move. Now, that's better. this happen. We're smarter than this.
Apparently not.
Master Black says, I think I will check him tomorrow though, because I have 30 minutes left before I pass out. 2:35 a.m. right now. Dang. A Lego Cowboy says, have you seen Chef? I have not. Hmm.
On top of that spire.
I sense. I sense Count Dooku.
I sense a trap.
Literally just a Kiwi. Yo, oh, you're back. Kiwi, welcome back.
This ain't his house. The kid's running scared. I sense Count Dooku.
I sense a trap.
Dooku.
Melon Playground guy says Anakin getting hit with a brick. Bro, how did you guess? Qui-Gon Jinn says, anyone watch Skeleton Crew? I have not. Darth Vader, yo, what's going on? Kiwi says, where I am right now, there are so many mosquitoes. Ouch. I'm sorry to hear that. I hate mosquitoes. I don't think I was bit by a single mosquito last summer. That's because I live farther up north. There's barely any mosquitoes here. Gorilla Monkey Man Butt says, hi Jar Jar, I went potty. Very good. Good job, Gorilla Monkey Man Butt. I'm so proud of you. Good job. You went pee. You went potty. Good. I wish I could go potty like you. but I must continue working. Matt says blender where? No blender right now. No blender right now, please. I'm traumatized by blender, so. Actually, I think I'm gonna start up Oblivion now.